right now we have with us Dr. Yomi Otubela, who is National President, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools in Nigeria, to talk to us about this whole thing we're hearing about WAEC results and the rest of them. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Otubela.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, help us understand what is happening. Depending on whose notes you are looking at, you hear stuff about WAEC. Okay, the results are out, the results are not out. Okay, WAEC has released some results, there's been a drop. Then there was a list making the rounds of some schools that have been suspended here and there. Help us understand what exactly is happening.
Yes, precisely WAEC released the results of the 2025 West African Examination Council results. And for a while, the internet and the website were not friendly for candidates and parents to access the results. But later in the evening on that same day, candidates started accessing their results without any inch. Thereafter, there was a list making around about schools who are indicted or allegedly indicted in the examination for their children to have committed some act of malpractices. And a day after, just this morning, there was a release from WAEC that such information about those allegedly indicted in examination malpractices never existed or originated from the council. The council further supported their claim that there is no way a school will have come for the investigation panel committee with the script of the children, knowing fully well that the scripts reside with the council. So that made the statement a false statement to start with. Back to the WAEC result itself. The results, according to the head of the national office, the HNO had reported that the students passed at about 38%, which is the worst for about 15 years, from 2015 to date, where the list before then was put as 39 or thereabout. And the reason for this cannot be far-fetched from the fact that there are a lot of challenges that are facing the academics and the education of our country as it affects the student writing their final year examination. Top of the list of these challenges are the fact that we have not paid sufficient time on the capacity building of our teachers. In about a few months' time, we shall be celebrating the World Teachers' Day. And from about 2 years now, much have not been done to see that the teachers' capacity building has gone to a level that could assist the teachers to play the mentoring role on the lives of the children. Aside this is that you agree with me that the budgetary allocation is as far short the recommended percentage by the UNESCO to education. We also have issues that relate with infrastructure and digital accessibility, especially in the rural area where children hardly have access to computer, and where they are, it is just about 1 to 100. And we still have some of these children who are studying under an atmosphere that is not conducive for learning. So this then points to the fact that there is a whole lot of gap, a wide gap between what is going on in the class and the outcome from the children. It's also hello.
My apologies, Dr. Otubela. You've touched on a very sore point when you talked about the learning conditions of the students. But before we come to that one, still talking about the results. Just yesterday, the director of a school, we had a conversation, and he was telling me that the results, even for the ones that are seemingly good, that they were going to have to protest because a particular subject, English language, across board or largely, the result didn't, quite represent what their students should have scored, even though other subjects seem quite good. Do you have the similar experience? Do you have such understanding? Because this fellow also said that it's not just for one school, it's something that's happened across all over the place. Can you confirm that?
Yes, we have received some concerns from members of our associations who claim that that result does not reflect the ability of some of the children. And of course, WAEC has a gateway to resolve such concerns where you can apply for revisit of the marking of that individual child script. So we've encouraged our members to take into that network and ensure they apply for revisit of the marking of the children's scripts, especially those children that we can vouch for. So that is ongoing. We could not also overrule the fact that the condition in which the examination was written in some states are not acceptable by us. For the fact that children were writing exam late into the night with candle and torchlight cannot be a standard that that will allow us to have commendable results. I must therefore commend children who have, in spite of all the hardship, economic in particular, and all other challenges in writing the examination or even preparing for the examination, has come out with a commendable result. We must commend these children. And overall, I think there's a challenge in our educational system at the moment. And we all, both private and government, we all need to have a more robust working relationship that can visit this issue and see that we are able to identify where the challenges are from and provide a lasting solution.
Dr. Dubela, we had a discussion on Channels Television with Dr. Sam Adeyemi, who is a leadership expert. And one of the things that he said, in fact, he came on air with us on the day we were talking about the issue you just mentioned, and you've talked about it twice, meaning it's a concern for you. Students writing in very, very unsavory conditions, writing exams at that, not just taking notes, writing examinations in very unsavory conditions. His opinion is that what is going to happen in another 30 years has begun in the conditions, from the conditions within which those students wrote the exams there. And he says that in other climes, that's ground for declaring a national emergency on education. Now, when you say that something needs to be done, do you think it is as drastic as Dr. Adeyemi is suggesting, that we should call for a national emergency, a state of emergency on education in order to protect the future?
Yes, the current Minister of Education are taking the bulls by the horn by ensuring that some policies are pushed outside there to confront these challenges, some of which he has challenged the body in charge of registration of teachers, registration council, to ensure that no teachers, nobody, no personality, no officer that has not been verified by the TRCN is allowed to interface with these children. And I will not agree less with Dr. Adeyemi, knowing that whatever goes in is what comes out of human. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So we cannot raise children who have to struggle to pass the examination without adequate facility. We cannot expect much from them. It is what we give into them that will come out of them in some many years to come. And that's suffice to say that what is coming out currently has started some 30 years backward too. And except we take drastic action to correct that, we shall continue to have these challenges, and it may be worse. But for the fact that the current minister has shown capacity, has shown tenacity, I'm not in doubt that there will be some quick change in the years to come.
Just one quick one before we go. What's the role for private schools as well? Because some of these schools that we're talking about are not just public schools. Some of them are private schools. And also talked about rural areas and the rest of them. And we have private schools all over the place. It would seem like there are no standards to make sure that these schools, no matter what tier you put them, conform to international standards, or at least the barest minimum standards, in order to preserve the future again. What's your take on that?
Yes, you know that putting up policies that will ensure standard is not as important as monitoring and implementing such policy. The challenges we have in Nigeria is not about policy, provision of policies that can take us to the world level. It is the ability to implement these policies without fear of favor. In times we have seen where challenges have been seen, and monitoring team has observed a shortfall in policy implementation, and no drastic action has been taken. And for those schools that were listed out there, I have said it earlier on, I want to reiterate this, that those lists are not fact, they are not true. We are expecting the true list from WAEC, if there is any. So the public should discontinue that, as we have interface with WAEC body over that, and no such list is existing. Okay. And for schools who are running shortfall of the standard of the policy of education, we want to challenge the policy makers who are in charge of implementation to buckle up their shoes and ensure that the monitoring and supervising department is up to the game.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Chief Yomi Otubela, National President, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools in Nigeria. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you. God bless you.